Welcome to From the Trenches, Success Shortcuts Revealed by Real-World Innovators Crushing It Right Now. I'm your host, Scott Hartley, and we're back with another episode packed with actionable strategies from today's most successful entrepreneurs. If you're tired of generic business advice and ready for real cutting-edge tactics that are working right now, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into how to use AI to do most of your boring, repetitive tasks for you so you can get everything done faster, better, and cheaper. And I can't wait to share with you the transformational insights from our guest. Speaking of which, let me introduce to you Steve Sipress. Steve is a serial entrepreneur who started his first multi-million-dollar business during his final year of law school. Since then, he started over a dozen successful businesses of his own, and he's helped thousands of others do the same. When ChatGPT was first introduced to the world, Steve knew that he had to figure out how to use AI in his business, or he would be missing out on a huge opportunity to save time, money, and effort. With AI, he could produce more revenue and profits in his business. He found an amazing group of technical AI experts, and once he saw the amazing things they could do, he knew he had to find a way to work with them so together they could help other business owners like you and like him to AIify their businesses and transform their lives. And that's exactly what AI Growth Wizards has been doing for forward-thinking business owners, professionals, entrepreneurs all over the world. Steve, it is great to have you on the podcast today.
Well, it's fantastic to be here, and I have to say that is one heck of an intro to have to live up to. So the pressure is on, but I'm up to it. Let's go.
Awesome. Well, you and I, I'm in one of your mastermind groups, so you know that I am a huge fan of AI. And of course, it's an ever evolving type of thing. But I'm really interested in learning from you because you've really been deep into it. I've kind of just kind of grazed the surface over some of the things that I've been learning. But tell me a little bit about your journey into AI. What have you kind of been discovering?
Yeah, in that way, very similar to you in the beginning, because like you said, it's crazy. I don't think any of your viewers are thinking differently other than this is an ever-changing, you can't get a finger on it. There's always something new. If I use something, is it going to become outdated tomorrow? Like, what the heck is going on? Just world of business. I will say the coolest thing about AI, it reminds me of the internet. I mean, in case your viewers are blind, I've been around a little while, and I was operating businesses and building multi-million-dollar businesses long before the internet was a thing. I mean, I know it was invented way back, whatever, but
right.
And I remember when the internet first came out, it was seen as, it really was, a great equalizer, so that small business owners could be on almost an equal footing with bigger businesses, because now you can have a website whether you are a company with 5 employees or 500 employees, and social media the same way. You can put out all kinds of content, and unfortunately, the downside, I'm sure and your viewers know, and unfortunately maybe they're like me and some of them have been burnt by this, but that allows a lot of charlatans to just make it seem like they're a guru and an expert, but of course they're a fake and a fraud and whatever. But the internet allowed the fraudsters and I don't want to talk about them, but the actual honest business people to do that, to present a competing face with the big boys. Well, AI is now doing the same thing, because thanks to AI, companies that have 500 employees can get the same stuff done with 5 employees in a small business. And in fact, the biggest scare and the biggest misnomer, if you ask me, about AI is people are afraid that AI is going to replace all the jobs.
Right.
And what are people going to do? But the fact is that, especially what my business is all about, AI Growth Wizards, is enhancing the work of your team, of you, your staff, your employees, whatever you call them, to make them AI enhanced employees of you, so that they can get the remedial, boring, repetitive stuff, like you say, get that all done in minutes, what used to take a whole day or hours to do, which meant a lot of it didn't get done, or it got done poorly, or there were mistakes, or it wasn't done at all, or you get overwhelmed. I can't do that personal report of whatever for everybody. Well,
Yeah.
AI can now do it in minutes. So that up levels you and all your staff to do more client or customer facing stuff, to spend more time talking to the people and helping them solve problems and being much more productive, much more valuable workers to you that you'll never want to get rid of. I give you an example. I had a company that before all the shutdowns happened, they had a business doing a lot of live in-person events, speaking at events, hosting events, everything in person. And then, of course, as we all know, the whole world came to a shock in the spring of 2020, and they were like, oh man, and they had a staff of about 50 to manage all their simultaneous events going on around the world, the scouting events and then the hosting the events, the follow-up the events, and multiple events in a weekend sometimes, so multiple staffs and all the recording equipment and all the video and all of this and that, and the people in the room and the people at the front table with the signing people in and selling stuff, with like 50 something people in this company doing about 3-point-something million in business. Well, complete pivot when the shutdown hit, they went down to about 5 people. Well, what happened was a little over a year later, when things started to open up again and they started to get back to in-person events, they very quickly, thanks to using AI, they scaled up to now they are about 12 million a year. And I think they've only hired like 2 more people. I think they have 7 people.
Wow.
So they didn't have to go anywhere near replacing the 50 people. They certainly kept their 5 people. But those 5 people are now 2 more, 7 are doing the work of not only 50, but they've quadrupled in size.
Yeah.
So it might have been at this point 100 or 120 people. Will think of that, think about what business people are thinking when they're looking to scale or to grow is, all the costs involved. And if you ask me, the biggest cost is mentally, because the headaches of all these employees and all these interviews and all, now I got to have managers to manage them, and I got to do all the training them, and what a headache. Well, what if you didn't have to hire any more people, but you could triple in size?
Yeah.
That's what AI does. So we're not looking, no one who's looking at it right, if you ask me, is looking to say to that company, for instance, hey, let's get rid of those 5 people and you can still do 3 million a year, which I don't even think it'd be possible, because then the owners themselves would be doing way too much work. But not even a thought. It's how can we take those 5 people, enhance their life so that they get to step up and do really profitable, beneficial, and fun things. It's another thing, by the way, maybe I'm answering all the questions you didn't even ask them, but one of the biggest issues with business owners, I don't know if your viewers are having this, they say since the job market has been real tough for years, that one of the toughest things they have is keeping good people.
Yeah.
That people know, hey, I can leave, I can go somewhere else. Well, think about it. If you AI-ify their day-to-day life so that a lot of their boring, menial, repetitive tasks are done for them in minutes, and they're done well, and they're done perfectly, boom, they have to look them over. Maybe there's an error, they have to look it over. Maybe they can enhance things a little bit or add something. But basically, all this forms and contracts and paperwork and reports and all this stuff is just boom, 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 boom. Follow up with leads and setting up and qualifying and marketing and all this stuff, so that they can now step up and do what they really love to do with the job, and same with the business owner themselves, not having to do this stuff they just hate. It's a rhyming phrase one of my clients came up with: automate what you hate.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's the thing with a lot of small business owners, that, I think that we all feel overwhelmed at different points in time, because as a small business owner and entrepreneur, and you know this very well, we're wearing multiple hats in the business. We have to be the financial expert. We have to be the HR person. We have to be the salesperson. We have to be the marketing person. We have to be the one doing service delivery. So
100% true. And what's even worse than being overwhelmed is choosing not to be overwhelmed and basically just not doing stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm overwhelmed by all I have to do. And, now I have to do those quarterly, whatever. You know what? They just don't get done.
Yeah.
Or I got to send out a weekly report to the clients. I think I'll just do it monthly. so that I'm not overwhelmed. I want some work-life balance, as if entrepreneurs have that, but I want some semblance of it. Or, I
Right.
can't do everything. I can't wear all the hats, so I just don't. And that slips through the cracks, and that doesn't get done, or that doesn't get done well. I give an example, like clients that do, I have an SEO company that we help them AIify the whole thing. First of all, they said SEO, search engine optimization. For those of your, I know you know what that means, Scott, but maybe some of your viewers are not up on the whatever nomen, the inside jargon. SEO, that means where you're doing stuff on your website to get the search engines to show you up higher in the search results when people type stuff in. And so all this technical, very technical behind the scenes stuff is being done, as you know, and you do, with the titles and the tags and the descriptions and the this and the links and the whatever. Well, he told me when he first came on, he said, 90% of SEO work, every SEO guy does. Therefore, the real juice, the real competitive advantage is in the 10% of stuff that nobody wants to do, because that takes 10 times as much work as the 90%. So 90% of SEO, they said, can be done, takes a little bit. You do some maintenance every week, you do a little tweaking, this, that. He goes, but man, to string out hundreds of keywords and this and that and do all this and do that, that only gets a tiny bit of extra juice, and it takes all this extra time and effort, so no one does it. Well, we said, yeah, tell us what that is. Let's go through it, and let's have AI do it. And now, boom, huge competitive advantage. And the point I was making about the employees is how are they going to leave you and go to another company? Let's say they're an assistant behind the desk in a medical or a dental clinic where they're just dealing with insurance and paperwork all day long. But you have used AI tools to AIify a lot of that stuff and take it away from them, so you can open up a new location without hiring 6 more girls to sit behind the counter all day. You just take 2 of them and go over to the new location. And you take 2 of them, go to another location, because now you only need 2 to do all that stuff. Again, you don't get rid of them. You can just open more locations now. And so now, are they going to leave you and go to another dental clinic where their first day at work, they're going to go, what? I have to do what? I don't do that anymore. Then they'll come scurrying back to you. So in other words, they would just never leave. So when you AIify the repetitive, menial, boring tasks of your staff, you're locking them in. They're never going to leave you, because it's not a comparable position to go somewhere else, not if they have to do all the boring crap that they hate. So not only are you making more money and having more enjoyment yourself, but you're creating an environment where your staff loves their job and will never leave you. And that alone, if anyone has ever hired anybody and managed any kind of staff, knows that saves you a ton of time and trouble and peace of mind, knowing that your turnover goes down to virtually 0.
Now, I know that, with AI, a lot of people, they initially think, because this is kind of like the common promotion that we hear of about AI. So a lot of people think, I can just use AI for copywriting. So I can use it to, write emails or to write, sales letters or things like that. And obviously that is a function that you can use AI for. But what you're talking about here is so much more than that. It's actually going into business processes and service delivery and some of the back end things that a lot of us really haven't even thought about leveraging AI tools for. Is that correct?
Yeah, let me give you an example. I pulled one up this morning saying, I bet Scott's gonna want to know, like, an example of how you can do more in a business than just what we're thinking on the surface. Because you asked me I think that was the question you asked me originally that I didn't answer. I apologize. Is, what did I think at first when it came out? Was like, yeah, I guess you can have ChatGPT write something, because that was the first stuff we were introduced to, right? It can write poetry. It can write a song. We were like, oh, look, it can talk like a pirate, all kinds of stuff. But who cares? I mean, what does that do for my business? But the thought was text in, text out. And then along came all the graphic tools. So it was text in, images out. Well, how about really getting into business processes, which is what AI Growth Wizards does. So my job is, I have the technical team. I don't, me, Scott, I'm not a technical guy. You got to be laughing or just the thought of that, because I'm the complete opposite. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. but I know it has to be done. So I always get the best people to do it.
Yeah.
That's why I got you to fix my email. And you said, share the screen. You went into my thing. You're like, we got to add this record and that thing and copy this and paste that. And I'm like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. But if Scott says to do it, boom, and it worked. It was perfect and everything was fixed. So I have a team of amazing, amazing AI technical wizards, which a little off the subject, but did you know, I mean, I think we all have an idea now that AI has been around for a long time. Like,
Sure.
as soon as we bought something on Amazon 20 years ago,
Yeah.
immediately it said people who bought that also bought this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping none of us really thought there was a human being sitting there while I put my credit card into the cart who immediately started looking things up and said, like, wow, what? Let me look up everyone that bought that. And at 600 bought this and 400 bought then 200. Oh, here's the, I should reckon. What? No. Oh, and then they looked at my history of buying and, oh, do I have kids? No. Do I live in a big house, a little house? Oh, I should suggest it. No, it's all AI did all it. But here's the thing, and I had this explained to me by one of my tech wizards on my team. I mean, this guy, I've got people on this team, Scott. One has been doing AI for the UN for about 15 years. She's been using AI for the UN this and UN that, this and that. They have all these groups with the UN. Another guy with Disney. For almost 20 years, he's been doing AI with Disney, with all these. But this guy said, he goes, here's the thing. You'll appreciate that. And he said, here's the thing. Until ChatGPT burst on the scene, the first you can speak a layman, a non-techie, a tech idiot like me, but what's a tech idiot, whatever you would call it, can now talk to AI and have it do something. Before then, you needed someone like me. You needed a technical wizard, because to use AI, you had no computer programming language.
Mm-hmm.
So these guys been using AI for 20 years, but they are computer programmers.
Yeah.
So they know how to talk to AI and get it to do stuff. But now, thanks to ChatGPT and Claude and Copilot and DALL-E and all the tools, it's over, one of the people on my team counted up about a month ago, almost 15,000 AI tools in the marketplace.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling when you look at the list, and it's growing exponentially.
Oh, so now
every
there's
single
16,000, right? Tomorrow will be 20,000, and then they'll, those are. I mean, and now, I hesitate because anyone who's messed around with the stuff, which I think is pretty much everybody, understands that it'd be silly for me to say you can speak regular English to it and get good stuff out, because we all know, no, you can't. You still got to know how to speak to it and the prompts and how to write stuff properly and how to, we as humans, like I just did, we don't speak in full sentences. I just stopped in the middle of a sentence, started another one. Like, that's how humans talk. We talk too general. We might talk too specific. We leave a lot of stuff out. I'm a living example already. In the first 10 minutes, I put a lot of extemporaneous stuff in. Like, you can't speak to a computer that way. ChatGPT, it seems like a person. Oh, thank you. I can talk like a pirate. Okay, it's a fun part. No, it's a computer. And while you don't have to know zeros and ones and whatever programming language, A+, C++, whatever, you got to know how to talk to it. However, it's a far cry from being a computer programmer to, hey, I figured out a couple of prompts, or I got a couple of prompts from somebody and I can copy and paste these in, or I can use the explore the GPTs and find thousands of custom GPTs people are building and sharing with the community, or they're selling. You can create your own. I help clients do all this stuff, create GPTs to sell, to use. And by the way, not just with, like you said, copywriting and social media or emailing. That's kind of the marketing outreach part to it. But how about the delivery of the deliverable? Like, I'm a consultant. If I teach people how to do these 5 steps and you'll get this result, I put that into a custom GPT. So now I don't have to get on the phone with every new client and go, okay, who's your target market? Okay, great. Now tell me, what's their biggest fears and desires and goals? Okay, great. What's it? I got a GPT doing all that. A Steve GPT instead of a Chat GPT, or whatever you want to call it, a hit the inbox GPT. It asks this question, then it gives this result, and then this response, and asks another. Instead of you doing that, have AI doing that. Well, just that, I just saved you hours of work if you work with clients, and you ever
Mhm.
have to do an onboarding, or what if you have to do customer service? We've all talked to bots. We've
Sure.
all talked to machines that are, you just fill them with a database. Here's all the frequently asked questions, all the info. And every time you get another question asked, every time there's a question that the bot can't answer, it says, let me get you to somebody now. Your customer service person has to take it over. But
Yeah.
now one customer service person, thanks to a bot, can do the work of 10 people
Hmm.
because they're only jumping in once in a while to conversations. Meanwhile, your AI could have 100 conversations all at the same time, answering all the basic questions. And it's 24/7, 365 while everyone sleeps. So you're not paying overtime. I remember the days of customer service, and I think they called it Follow the Sun. When Follow the Sun customer service came out, so that you could have 24-hour customer service, you had to have a team in the Far East
Hmm.
working 9 to 5. They could handle the overnight stuff here in the US. And then you had a team in Europe that was handling this time of day. And then you had the team in the US that was handling the 9 to 5 in the US time. So you had to have teams around the world following the sun. So that 24 hours a day, you didn't have to pay overtime to people to work during what all those days ago. Your AI is working all the time, 24 hours a day, answering the questions with the database. And anytime there's a new question, that the bot goes, let me get you to somebody. You just add that into the database so that the bot is always learning, right? We know the AI is always learning based on the data. It's getting better and better. So now questions and answers are done by AI instead of human beings. Onboarding is done by them. Coaching, consulting is done for the
Hmm.
most part by your AI version with your database and your system and your strategy, the wow strategy, put it into a custom GPT. And
Hmm.
instead of me asking the questions and coaching people through exercises, the GPTs are doing that. I can handle 100 times the clients
Yeah.
without putting any more time or effort or hiring any more people, right? So in anticipation, I was going to say, if you asked this question, I pulled up an example from of a real estate agent. Okay, we helped a real estate agent. I went
Okay.
in and looked at all the things we did for this real estate agent. Very forward thinking, by the way. Everything I'm talking about here, and probably the only reason people are watching is they are forward thinking. They're
Hmm.
aggressive, they're forward thinking. I know you can use AI just to kind of not lose ground or not get sucked up and get blown out of the water by your competition. You can use it defensively like that, or to kind of just do a couple of things you don't like doing, or yeah, write a poem speaking like a pirate, whatever. I'm talking about really aggressive, forward thinking. Those that back when the internet first came out, I don't know if you remember, but I remember way back then, a lot of companies didn't have websites
Right. Yeah.
for years. And they all like, I don't need a website. It's a fad. We don't need websites. But the aggressive ones had websites.
Yeah.
I mean, they were expensive. They took months to build. So they put in 30, 50,000, take months to build. But then, man, they had that website. That wasn't for everybody. That was for the aggressive people. Now
Right.
with AI, we're not talking about 30, 50,000. We're not taking months to build, but we are talking about the mindset of being aggressive. Well, I'll give you our real estate agent who I will say, number one was aggressive. Number two, these were not done all at once. These were done piece by piece by piece. What we like to do at AI Growth Wizards, we start with something simple. I like to get a big win, a quick win for them, as quick as
Yeah.
possible. So I say, what would you like to get rid of? What to automate? What you hate? What thing would you like to replace that you just hate doing, or your staff hates doing it, or you hate seeing them do it, and you want them to do more important stuff? And if they say something real complex, I'm like, okay, we'll do that. But I suggest let's start with something simple.
Hmm.
How about we take care of your email? How many hours a day do you spend on? Well, I check it 4 times a day for half an hour. That's 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
Well, AI can read your emails and respond to the emails, and maybe 10% of them is something that just gets to you
Hmm.
because it doesn't fit into what's automatically responding. Anyone says, I want to bid for something, or I want an estimate, or I want to propose, any of those words trigger this sequence. Okay, go to all the suppliers' websites. You got 9 possible suppliers. Go to all their websites, get the best deal on whatever you're looking for. Human beings will never do that. They'll go to one.
Right.
I like Tommy over at Jones. Let me just call Tommy. I'm not making 8 more calls. That sounds good enough. He's always got the best price. He says he does. They have a guarantee. They have all this kind of stuff. We just assume. Like we see ads on TV. We guarantee the lowest price. Okay, I go into the store. I don't. I'm sure they do. Yeah, well, they might not. Well, AI doesn't mind going to all 9 of those websites in 2 seconds, checks out all the best offers for that whatever parts or whatever element of the proposal. And I will say we found out that the AI even negotiates better prices.
Wow,
We didn't
interesting.
even, I remember the first time out, we didn't program it to do that. It just naturally said, oh, by the way, is that the best you could do? And the response was, okay, how about this much? We're like, holy crap. Not only was our staff not going to all 9 sites, but on the 8th one got the best price and then negotiated it even lower and
That's
said, we've
awesome.
never done business with you, but I always check this. But is there something you can do to win our business and give us a shot? And if we like it, we might go, okay, boom. So anyway, that's just one step, and it takes every step of this proposal or bid process, and then it puts together in a report, blah, 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 and it gets it all out there. I've had contractors tell me they get 6 bids a day. They get back from a long day of remodeling a bathroom or doing or whatever, or putting on a deck, and oh, look, here's my emails now. Oh, I got 6 bids I got to do. Honey,
Yeah.
I'm going to be up till 10 o'clock at night. Like I'll never see my family, my kids, but I got to do all this stuff. No, how about it's all already done? By the time he gets home, all that is done. All the bids are ready. They're not. They could be sent out, but no, we put them in front of him.
Yeah.
He gets to look them over and go, that looks good, and press a button. And instead of a 2-page presentation and a bid going out, it's a 20-page report full of all kinds of charts and graphs and articles about why they really should put in a deck. And now is the time. And here's the reason to, and here's what'll happen if you don't. And but humans aren't going to do all that.
Right.
So not done better, it's done faster. And since you're not paying people to do it and you're getting some sleep, it's done cheaper. Your life is so much better. And for the emails, yeah, maybe 180 of them were very easily responded to or discarded. And maybe 20 land in your desk. That takes you 10, 15 minutes to respond to. So we took 2 hours of emailing, and you can do it in 10 minutes, and it's done better. Those responses are more, how many people have gone through their emails and finally at the end of a long day of email after email, and you're like, 1 sentence, 2 words, looks good. That's it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'll get back to you tomorrow. Like, I'll look it over. I'll let you know. Like, no. 5 paragraphs with 6 links. Like, oh yeah, here's some ideas, and here's 5 more possibilities, and here's this, and here's the page on our website with a video about that, and humans aren't going to do all that.
Right.
Or at least unless you're, I don't know, did you hit the lottery? Unless you can hire so many people to do your emails that are going to really sit there and write all this out. But AI is going to
and then, part of it too is just the consistency. AI is going to be consistent when it's doing these tasks, whereas a human is going to have fatigue. I mean, even if you have an assistant, a human assistant that's handling your emails and everything, and you get a lot of the same stuff over and over, eventually that person's going to tire out, and just, you're not going to have the same results. And like you shared, those proposals, what might have been a couple page proposal for a deck that's now a 15, 20 page proposal probably has a higher likelihood of convincing the prospect, hey, let's close this deal, because now
really
you've
great point.
answered questions
Not
that
only
they haven't asked yet.
the prospect, but keeping the client. So
Yeah.
we had an accountant who would do a weekly report for a bookkeeping report for all his bookkeeping clients. And yeah, he gave like 2 reports, like a P&L and a cash flow. Well, the AI, we said, well, yeah, in a perfect world, if you had all the time to do it, and you had 1 client, and it was, IBM, and they were paying you $1 million to do a weekly report, what else would you put in there? Oh, well, I do this and that, done. And now it's a 25-page report full of, here's a forecast of this, and here's a comparison year over year, 2 years back, 5 years back, 3 years back, 3 years in the future. We're anticipating this market trend in the future. We're anticipating this tax change in the future, and they're proposing that this will go into effect in 20. What? Yeah, all these reports coming in. Now, is the client going to read all that? If it's you, maybe. If it's me, no. But this is what we call in the information marketing world, we used to call this the thud factor. Back in the days, I don't know if you remember, back in the days where products were not courses and programs from consultants and gurus and experts were not online with password.
Yeah.
We were mailing them out. And so we called it the thud factor, because the sales pitch was, hey, buy my program. You'll learn everything you need to know about how to do XYZ. It comes with 24 manuals, 42 DVDs, 16 transcriptions, 82-page workbook, 400 pages of this, 300. Oh man, that's worth $1,000. And then the thing would come in a box like this, and it would be like, no one's returning that. First of all, it would cost more to ship it back. But like, man, it's the thud factor. It's Christmas. Look what I got. All these manuals, all this, what I like. You and me both know a successful business person wants less stuff,
Right.
not more. I don't want to pay $1,000 for 42 manuals and 82 DVDs. I'll pay you $5,000 for a 1-minute video on how to solve my problem. Like,
exactly.
Boom. So, but the thud factor of this reporting for the SEO guy, for the real estate agent, for the accountant, for the doctor. The doctor, I mean, you take your car into the auto mechanic, and you know, it's making a thunka thunka. They put it up on a lift. And if they're good and they're smart, they look at you when they're done. They go, oh, and by the way, while the car was up there, we just happen to notice your brakes are going to go in 4 months. Your shocks only got this much left. Your tires are this, that's this. You got a little leak over here. You got a whatever. So, you know, it doesn't have to be done right now, but the next 3 months, 6 months, but boom, 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 money, 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 pay us, pay us, pay us. Good. That's what they do.
Right.
They got the car up on the lift. They're going to diagnose, and they got future work.
Yeah.
Well, the AI does all that. How about in the medical field? You mentioned just going to the dentist. I don't know if you mentioned that before we started.
Yeah, that was before we started recording.
All right.
Yeah.
So, hey, spoiler alert or inside alert to the viewers. Scott mentioned that before. They had some dental work yesterday, and you know how you feel when they pump you full in your face. You feel it's all puffed up, even though it looks normal to everyone else. You feel like you're off. So, but here he is, and obviously he's fine. But what if the dentist, they were done, said, not only did I do that and fix the acute situation and whatever, but by the way, here's a report from the x-rays that shows within X number of months, if not treated, this is going to happen. And in 3 years, this is going to happen. And what if they showed that for your kids? Your kids went in for a checkup and they said, man, if you don't do this, in 3 years, the kids are going to need this, and this is going to happen, and their whole life's going to be ruined. I mean, their face is going to, their teeth are cockeyed, they're going to fall out. They're going to, man, what parents would not say, do it?
Yeah.
Let's schedule it. Let's get it done. Let's do that preventative whatever. So AI is doing all kinds of great things in the medical field about analyzing the future trends.
Yeah.
So that the professionals are making more money, just like the auto mechanic who can put a vehicle up and go, you're going to need a tune up in X number of miles, and you're going to need the 75,000 mile this and that, whatever. So I'll just, in the interest of time, I won't do everything, but I'll just tell you a few things this real estate agent did. And again, they didn't do all this all at once, but we talked about a little bit. They use it for lead gen and follow up, right? So now they have the AI chatbots that are identifying and qualifying leads automatically. So a lead comes in, and we all know, I think everyone knows, that you need to respond to that lead as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
We're just spoiled now. And if they hit your website and they're saying, okay, yeah, I'm interested. And if you don't respond, or someone doesn't respond quickly, there's 10 other real estate agents in the area they're going to go to, or heating and air guys, or lawyers, or anybody, for somebody to respond quickly and go, here's an estimate, or we can be out tomorrow, or boom, bang, yeah, I know your area. So immediately qualifies, ask them whatever questions you wanted to ask. You know, what size home are you buying or selling? Let's say you're buying. Okay, do you know what areas you picked out? What's important to you? If you have kids, school's important. Are you older, or hospital's important? You know, is this important? Is that important? Golf course in the area, Chinese restaurants in the area, close to the airport. Do you like to travel? Like, let the bot ask all these questions. Human beings, your assistant is likely, like you said, going to get very bored of this every time the phone rings, and not be sitting there asking all these questions. And besides, just checking on a box, and then what? She's just creating more work for herself. Now she's got to go and respond to all these things with a report. Well, that's exactly what you want your AI to do. So it's going to qualify your leads and identify them as warm, hot. Oh, how soon are you looking to move? Within the next year, 6 months? I'm kind of just gathering information, or no, we just got to transfer and we got to sell, or the divorce is coming final, we got to sell, or that's it, or whatever. Like, it'll qualify all that. And then immediately it can schedule the meeting with the live agent. That's all done. And it can send follow-up we have our client is sending now very personalized follow-up because, hey, before the meeting, by the way, here is a report of that area. Here are the schools in that area. I mean, what differentiates real estate agents? They all know one of the biggest things is their experience in general and their knowledge of the particular area.
Right.
So if anyone's ever bought a home, you go in and you really appreciate when the real estate agent knows the area. It says, you know, this is, anyone can say this is close to the highway. I saw that. I know that. You know, I have a map. I got here. I know it's close to the airport. Okay. But tell me about the schools. Well, you know, this is the main school, but there's a this, that, and, you know, oh, it's got a little known restaurant over here that everybody really raves about. And the local clubhouse on Tuesday night, they love the local gathering of the this, and the women do this, and the men do that, and the what. Oh, all this knowledge of the community and the whatever. And like, you know, they're really good about letting you get away with some things with the landscaping that shouldn't be tech. Oh, that's good. Thank you. You know all this stuff. Well, the AI does all.
Yeah.
So the AI is putting together this all personalized response where your employee or you yourself as an agent would really, got to admit, would never do.
Right.
With 10 people a day that just go, I'm thinking about buying in that area. If you're human, your thought is 90% chance they go with another agent. You know, I've done this before. I go through all the thing. They don't end up buying. No, I'm not going through. Scott, you just said, does the AI think about any of that?
Nope.
Of course not. The AI is not a human. The AI does what you tell it to do when you tell it the right way. So the AI now says, oh, okay, you're looking for this and that and it in this area. Okay, I'm going to put together this entire report. And I'm also, since I'm AI, I'm not just an automated bot. I can simulate. They say that ChatGPT, the latest version, for instance, has an IQ of 120. So it's not, you know, 140, 150. It's not a genius, but it's above average of 100, right? So it can think a little. It can analyze things. So it can say, hey, you're interested in this area. Did you know there's a similar area, this town? Maybe you're not familiar with it. It's about 15 miles out. So if you don't travel a lot, you don't need to be near the airport, or you don't go downtown into the city a lot, this is 15 miles further out, which means less crime, more peace and quiet, lower prices for the properties. But it does have all the things you were looking for in that town because it has this, that, this, that. Boom. Let AI do that. You got to really be an experienced agent to know all that kind of stuff about all the communities. Plus, real estate agents usually or very often put themselves out as an expert in a particular area. It's a great way to differentiate yourself and then you can advertise in the local neighborhood stuff, and you can use every door direct mail to the local neighborhood to go, I'm the guy, I live in this neighborhood. I do have a home in this community. I've been here 20 years. I know everything about it. Like, what if you could know everything about 20 different communities and put that minus the I live there part in all of our, I really know this area. We give you a personalized report and blah, 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 blah. Not to mention also preparing the agent for the meeting, for the day where you drive around to the homes. The agent gets a whole report. So the agent just reads this over for half an hour instead of taking 6 hours to compile everything. So they wouldn't really do it, or they would hate the night before, or their wife would not see them on a Sunday afternoon because they have a Monday morning appointment with a possible buyer who wants to look at some homes. They got to prepare for 6 hours. No, the AI plops that thing in 5 minutes on them. They can look it over for half an hour before the meeting, and they're an expert in all these communities. So now you can ramp up your marketing times 20 into as many areas as you want with as many agents as you want. Again, hopefully you want as many trusted, good workers as you can. You don't want to get rid of them. You want to enhance them. And if you're a broker, you want each one of your agents now able to be that expert in multiple areas. Blow away the competition. So this is doing all kinds of personalized emails, text messages, reports are all coming now to this lead. Whereas other real estate agents who have not yet AI-ified their existence are getting a response going like, yep, I'll meet you at 10 a.m. tomorrow on the corner of this at the Starbucks, and we'll look at some homes. Meanwhile, in the last 24 hours, your agent, you have sent out to them 4 text messages, 6 emails full in this room. Oh, and by the way, here's this. And by the way, here's that. Before we meet, you'll want to know this. And here's a couple of things I'm going to show you. Are they going to skip the appointment? Are they going to think you're just another real estate agent? Even if they don't find a home they want that day, are they going to look elsewhere? They're going to love you. They're going to know you're the most thorough, the most knowledgeable. You care about them the most. the most professional. Man, if this is how it goes when I'm a prospect, I can only imagine that my closing is going to go off without a hitch, that all the paperwork's going to be done. And by the way, thanks to AI, it is. So
Yeah.
that's just one thing. How about, does anyone ever do a what do they call it? CMA? I think they call it the CMA. I wrote it down here. I'm not a real estate guy, but they told me they called it I thought it was a CMA. Oh, I don't have it here. Oh, yeah, CMA, comparative market analysis. See, that's how it's cool. But the real estate, they're all sitting there going, yeah, CMA, Steve, get on with this, CMA, CMA. So it like a property evaluation, a market analysis, right? Where they go, here's all the comps, here's the different features of different properties. Here's again all the schools and the restaurants in the area and the golf courses or whatever. So this all comes to the agent, all done, and this report done instead of, you normally don't have time, so you do a 3-page report, or it's boilerplate, a bunch of stuff that might be months old or whatever. This is right up to date. Hey, these were the homes that were sold yesterday. This is the thing. Here's an article that was last week that showed up here about this, and here's that. It finds all of it. It does more research than any human's going to do. How about this one? Did you might know this? There are AI tools that do virtual staging. Did you notice this AI? You just send a photo of the bare living.
Yeah, you see that on a lot of sales websites, or like a lot of retail websites, where it's like, see what this would look like in your home, and you just take a picture of the spot where you would, put the chair or the couch or whatever, and then it shows it right there. It's really really
and this
cool.
is interactive, right? So all real estate agents know that, especially for valuable high-end property, even if it's been vacant for 6 months or 9 months, one reason it might not be selling, you need to stage it. And again, for our viewers that are not real estate agents, that means you furnish it. Hey, you put stuff in there to make it look like it's a high-end, fantastic place, where if you photograph the furniture that's there now, might be 5 or 10 years old, or it might be empty. So you're like, oh, no, we got to stage this. We don't want to show this $5 million home with this couch. And we don't want to have your husband's trophies on the wall from hunting, because that could turn some people off. Or we don't have the walls covered purple, because that for the kid loved purple in the kid's room, but that's not, we got to repaint. We don't really have to repaint. Let's use the AI staging tool. We just take a picture of the room, and then it's interactive. So now the agent can sit with or just do a Zoom call and share the screen with the prospective buyer and go, here's the living room. Now, here's how it would look with very modern this or that. What do you think? And the housewife, well, I like Victorian. Like, boom, how about this then? Oh, yeah, well, but we have a armoire from the 17th century that's this size. Okay, so boom, bang, and this and that. So now they're seeing their dream home right before their eyes. Do you like a lot of plants? Yeah. Do you like no plants? Do you like this? Would you like the kitchen without an island, with it? Like you said, all this, hairdressers have been doing this stuff for years.
Yeah.
Maybe not me, but a normal person can go in and say, what would I look like with long hair, shorter hair, this hair? I can only say, what would I look like with no hair? But for the women with the hairdos, they're like virtual hairdo thing. Like real estate agents do that with the 3D staging and the virtual tours, where no longer do you even need, as the agent, to walk through the place with your camera, take all the photography, then get someone to edit all, go onto Fiverr or whatever, and pay $300, $500 for the editing and wait a week, and then say, oh no, this, and then send it back for a revision. And whatever. No. Instantly, within 5 minutes, the AI goes, here's a 3D tour of the place. Boom. Here's a 3D tour of the neighborhood. Boom. All done, all delivered, personalized to the buyers. How about all the contracts? Thanks to templates, all the contracts are now all put together, and all those databases are filled in and all this stuff, so someone can look it over. But it's all done better than any human would do. It's all done to the utmost. Like you said, people don't fall asleep and not pay attention to detail and miss something. The AI doesn't miss anything. Yeah. So it can also, if it's a buyer and your client is getting, your client's the buyer and they're getting the contract, you don't have to get that to an attorney. You don't have to read over the 20 pages. The AI reads it over in 2 seconds and goes, okay, it's all boilerplate. except for on page 16, paragraph 2B, you might want to check out this clause, which says, by the way, the buyer agrees to pay this and that and this. Oh, the AI finds these clauses, is alerted to the out of the ordinary, and alerts the agent to alert the client. They go, man, wow, you really caught that. And you caught it in 30 seconds? Like, holy moly, yeah. My competitor, they used to tell me last time I bought a home, it took a week for him to get back to me about the kind. I had to pay $500 to an attorney. Like, once everything's done, we'll run it by the attorney, sure. But first, let's have the AI look this over and pull some stuff out. Bing, bang, boom.
Yeah.
How about this one? People don't think this way, because when you think about writing things or social media or creating images, sure. But how about this one? We created a tool for this agent, which is analyzing patterns in their client's behavior to predict when someone, a prospect, might be ready to buy or sell. So they haven't even contacted the agent yet, but they're on social media and they're doing something that you just send. The AI goes on to Facebook and looks for such and such, or into next door or neighborhood groups, and looks for a post where someone goes, hey, I'm thinking about moving to the area. Can someone tell me about the schools? The AI pulls that out to the agent who has said, this is one of the areas I want to sell in. Or if someone says on these next door or whatever, hey, can anyone recommend a local heating and air guy? And the heating and air guy's wife is glued to the social media all day while he's out doing his heating and air work. She's on 5 different Facebook groups and local groups and this and that and whatever, going like, I know a guy, my husband, this, that. And right away, 15 other people are going, I know a guy, I know a guy, I know a guy. Well, the AI can identify that before the person even posts and goes, hey, does anyone know a guy? Because it's analyzing all this behavior and it's predicting, hey, this person's roof is 50. Here's all the people with a roof that's 15 years old. Within the next 6 months, they're going to be looking to replace the roof. They haven't posted about it. They haven't talked about it. They don't even know they're thinking about it. And your marketing hits them and goes, hey, pretty soon, you might not think so, but your roof is going to blah. And then for months, it sends them reports and articles and this and that. And when suddenly there's a little leak, or when somehow, what if you think they're going to Google to find a roofing guy?
They've already got their person. So
this guy loves me and he's been sending me stuff for months. And you're like, I've been sleeping for months, dude. The AI's been doing all that. Thank you, AI.
yeah. But we're getting close to the top of our time here. So
I didn't even get halfway through, and that's just for one thing of a real estate.
One thing for real estate. It's so interesting to hear all of the kind of the unique things that I think that a lot of us don't consider that AI really can be leveraged for. So, so if people are interested, and piqued by like, hey, there's some stuff that we talked about today that it's like, oh, I've never imagined, that could be done. What's the best way for them to get in touch with you, to have a conversation, to say, hey, what would be appropriate for my business to consider using AI for?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, Scott. That's what I recommend. Is we don't think about like, Steve, I want this done, or that sounds expensive or too time consuming or too complicated. What I suggest just have a conversation. I've opened up time on my calendar, and again, I'm not the technical guy, so I just love having the conversations, and the tech and the AI has freed me up to do just that. So I just get on Zoom like this with people, with business owners, and we just have a discussion about how maybe AI could do some of the stuff you hate or your staff hates. Maybe what if it couldn't do 100% of making out that report, but it could take 80% of it off your hands. So 6 hours on the report now takes an hour. Like, just an exploratory call. You just go to the website, aigrowthwizards.com. And I say website, but it's just one page. And it just has my calendar on it. And it says, hey, do you just want to talk? And with just the initial call, the AI team that I teamed up with, they had people doing these, and they were charging for these calls, and said, I don't know about you, but I actually like talking to business owners, and I'm not going to charge for these calls. Now, maybe like you said, pretty soon I'm going to get kind of overwhelmed and like bored, and like, I don't want to do these. So you have to pay me to do these. But right now I love doing them.
Yeah.
And there's no charge. So
awesome.
It's my time, but at the very worst, I've met another business owner whom I love, and we had a conversation. But I can tell you for real, it's not for everybody. There may be obstacles we can't overcome because of the technology you're already using. If you're married to something, the AI might not interact with that well. And if you insist on using this database, or you get things faxed in, or you this or that, that won't work. And if you don't, all your intake forms are by hand and you won't digitize it, then it won't work. But so it might not work, but it might. And so parts of your business we might, others we might not. You might be willing to make change. Just have an exploratory phone call. I can't stay on all day, but like 15 minutes, we'll explore, no charge, no strings attached, no obligation, nothing might even come out of it. And even if I suggest that it might be something that would work, you could try and do it yourself or go to somebody else. Just no strings attached at all. Go to aigrowthwizards.com, get on my calendar. We'll have an initial exploratory talk and we'll throw around some ideas and just see if it could possibly be something you could do.
Fantastic. Well, AI is definitely something that I think that all small business owners need to be looking into, because the reality is those who don't adopt this technology are going to be the ones that get left behind, because the businesses that do figure out how to leverage AI in their business in some way, shape, or form are going to be light years ahead of everybody else. So I really encourage you. We'll put the link into the show notes.
I hate to sell that way, fear-based. And right now we're in a political season, which is all fear and negativity based, which I can't stand. I mean, every commercial, every social media post is negative, fear-based, or whatever. But unfortunately, it really is true. The positive thing is, if that's you though, then that's your competitors that are going to be in fear. They're like, oh man, Scott is AI-ified his business. How am I can't send out 20-page proposals, 6 a day, to everyone that calls. I can't identify leads before they even became a lead and send them 20-page proposals. They didn't even contact me. I can't be doing all that. They are going to be falling by the wayside. My sincerest wish for all business owners is that is your competitors falling by the wayside and not you. So give me a call.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for attending today's episode of From the Trenches. Before we wrap up, don't forget to schedule your conversation with Steve, aigrowthwizards.com. We'll put that link in the show notes. And if you're looking to supercharge your email marketing, check out and get a copy of my book, Hit the Inbox, at hittheinboxbook.com. It's packed with 76 pages of strategies to get your emails landing in inboxes and driving sales. Thanks again for tuning in today. If you found value in this episode, and I'm sure that you did, please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on your favorite platform. It helps us reach more entrepreneurs just like you. Until next time.
AI will do that on all the platforms at once.
Hey, there you go. Leverage AI to do all of that. So until next time, keep crushing it in the trenches.